Hang on a seckie, just getting this all sorted. Whoops. And spin around. Where are we?
Pretty handy tripod.
It is a handy tripod. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's just on a slight little lean at the second.
Has that got a stabilizer on it as well?
On the camera or?
On the up the top, no.
No, the GoPro, the phone's actually pretty good. Ooh, maybe I'm not actually done that, set that up right. Oh yeah, someone can see. Hello, here we go. We're on. We're good. Wave, say hello. Hey, we're on.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just that I had to come from the other side of the camera. Because anyway, Ryan's on his way, not far off. I'm pretty sure I got that all set up. Hey, just while we get ourselves organised. Yeah, it looks like there's someone there. Just give us a little holler and see if you can get some audio going. Make sure we're sweet. Yep. Oh, testing. Wednesday morning, live. How good is that? Looking forward to, hanging out with you today. We're going to spend a bit of time talking about WDTs, NCDs, and PUQ preparation. So distributing, what are the issues, how it can help, and some of the challenges you may have. So it's going to be heaps of questions, I'm sure, around this topic because it's just something that everyone has an issue with. If you don't fully understand it, you're going to get caught and cause really poor quality coffee. But yeah, happy to dive really deep into those and answer any of the questions you've got. Got a few cool tools here that we'll go through. So if you've got some questions, pop them down below. And yeah, Ryan will read those out in a seckie. Just waiting for Ryan to turn up, actually. To be honest, he won't be far off, but I'm going to flip this round and we'll get into it. I just can't see the screen. Actually, I'll wait till he comes and we'll just hang here. What's Chloe doing right now? Chloe's making a mess. Show us that little jug. It's so cute. It's a little cutie patootie, little micro one. You know what the funniest thing in the world is? I'll show you this. Come here, Jimmy. Can you pour out with this? Oh, you got your foot done, have you? You got your foot? Can you pour out that big milk jug for us?
Limping.
Jimmy's just limping. He's hurt himself.
Chloe was laughing at me yesterday.
And then I realised that you were like being a little bit serious.
I was so. I
hiding under the
have a
stairs.
doctor's appointment today because I properly have hurt myself. Yeah. What am I supposed to do with this?
Jimmy, what is it? A piccolo? This is the Jimmy with the big jug.
Oh, this is what? What am I? All right.
Hang on 1 sec. I'm gonna
That's
flip
a
this
double.
around. I'm gonna flip it around. There we go. That's
Strong one.
Oh, hang on. That's so dirty. Hang on. There you go. Show us,
I don't have much
show us your
time.
big jug.
There's my mini stack.
There you go. How sick's that?
Who's that?
The guy out here, Piccolo? Yeah, sweet. We love that little jug. It obviously looks really, really tiny in Jimmy's hands. It's funny. All right. Hey, it's all fun around here. It always is. If you're ever coming by, come in, say g'day. We love it. Jimmy, see you guys. Everybody, just we're gonna, feel sorry for Jimmy today. He has hurt his foot. He was walking up the stairs, up these steps. Oh, hello, Ryan.
Ryan had empathy.
Hey, Ryan.
Ryan had empathy for me.
You got to out there. Is that where it was?
Chloe was too busy laughing down here.
Yeah.
She couldn't help me.
Right. Right. Jimmy got up the stairs and had a slip. Unfortunately, he's got a sore foot. So,
Yeah.
yep, we'll
I'm
get
gonna
that.
work downstairs today.
We'll get that checked out.
Okay.
And they're a small foot, Jimmy.
I'm surprised they couldn't fit that foot on the step. That I could possibly miss a step.
Are you size 16?
Yep.
Size 16. There you go. If there is a shoe sponsor out there, Jimmy, that
Yeah.
wants to sponsor you,
Yeah.
size 16, send to Artisti. He'll take
Yeah.
any shoe. All right, so getting serious. And there are a whole heap of questions here. It is so good to see so many people here right now. Ryan, I've got.
Get my glasses and I'll
Yeah, you get your glasses. We're all getting a bit old this year. We all
Don't
tend
run,
to.
Ryan.
See, this is 2026 Luke glasses, and Ryan's got his. But generally,
You
g'day
stay
everyone.
there.
You stay
I
there.
Can have a look till Ryan gets here. Yeah.
It's cool. It is cool. All right, so
Can we see Ryan?
can we see Ryan?
Yes,
All right.
Ryan.
G'day everyone. Give us a quick shout out. See who's on there. Looking forward to spend a bit of time with you. But as we did put up yesterday, we're talking about coffee distribution. So if you've got your questions, pop them down below. We're going to show you things like, you know, needling tools, WDT. We'll go through an NCD as well. And then we'll look at some of the new tech, the new versions of those. There are some digital versions as well. But hey, we want to talk, cover any of those questions you may have, issues you're having with your PUCs and distributing fast channeling shots. I've even got a bottomless portafilter here, which we can show you what's happening with some of those issues. And while we're doing that, we're going to make coffee as well with Chloe. So, Ryan, you got anyone need to say g'day to, or what that's like there?
We've actually got Ben Brazier on there.
Ben? Oh, hello, Ben.
Morning, Ryan Luke.
Ben's going to be here really soon. Ben's going to come and join us on the live in a second.
We've got our mate Brock Lee on there. Says good morning, guys.
Hey,
Haven't
Brock
seen
Lee, how you
for some
going?
time.
Oh, you got a little couple of lattes here to make. Oi,
Which country? We are in Australia.
yep,
Someone
sure.
says I need coffee. I do too.
yep. I think this might be even yours. Do you know what's really bad? Is I feel like I need my glasses to see what I'm pouring right now. That is really, really bad. Yeah, I do. I can't see milk. I cannot see patterns in cups anymore. I have gone blind. Oh, I haven't frothed that one. Is that your little mini hot chocolate?
Yes. It's a little bit cold.
What do you call what do you call a little mini? What's a mini piccolo hot chocolate called? Anyone? A what?
A chocolate.
A chocolate.
We've got the GM on there, morning team. That's from Everard Simpson.
Oh yeah, sweet. Is
Monday says he wants to see my face. I don't know if you really want to see my face, but if you have to, morning everybody.
oh, so good, so good. Oh wow, this is like a shambles start. But you know what? Have fun. If you're not having fun around coffee, I think that's a real issue in your life. There you go. I can actually see what's going on there. Whose are these?
Jimmy, Ryan.
All right. Well, there you go. There's the staffy. Ryan, you can have that one there.
Thanks, mate.
Jimmy, you having a
Chloe.
latte?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Enjoy. All right. That's really scary that I couldn't see that in a cup. What's this one?
That's cappuccino.
Yeah, go for it. Go, Hugh. We're good. What's this one? What was it? Cappuccino for Rory. Okay. Hey, last week we actually covered on the live milk frothing, and I hope you've had a chance to really work on your frothing, and I hope the tips last week helped you grow as well. So, I guess, quick little recap. Little jugs are really hard to froth in. Bigger jugs are better. Just water in that jug. Just water in that jug. Bigger jugs are easy to learn with. It gives you a lot more time to be able to froth and add it all that hiss back in. You want to get the milk spinning with no hiss, introduce your hiss, which is going to give you the foam volume, and then you're going to have plenty of time from 40 degrees of the milk to then get up to 65 degrees to fold that foam back into the cup. So that's what we went through last week. Small jugs are really hard. The positioning is a little bit different, but we did talk about keeping the steam wand locked in here and just sliding up and down the jug flat and level as well. So we've got ourselves a little cappy here. We've got a little dustier chocolate. Get up high, pour in, get some foam in and under, get around that cup, create your base. And then you can, there's actually not a lot of froth in this, to be honest. So that is really like a flat white / latte with chocolate, in all honesty, in that cup. But you know what? That's for Rory. He's our service manager. He's not paying for the cup. He's going to love it. All right. I'll pop that out of the way for Rory. And, gee, I feel like we're
Luke,
on
what's
track.
your opinion on mixing matcha with espresso?
Oh,
Dirty
you-
matcha. It's a done thing.
it's happening. It's out there. It's not a great outcome for espresso, personally. So, not a matcha man at all. But look, it's definitely a thing, right? It's going to be. G'day, Kyle. How you going? Do you want a coffee, mate?
Yes, please.
What would you like?
A latte would be lovely.
A latte, beautiful. Yeah, look, the trends are changing. That's definitely the key. We found this summer is so many more cold drinks, so many more flavoured drinks happening. It's like Starbucks has finally actually had an impact with the different generations, and the rest of the world's got to try and catch up. So I guess there's some topics there that we're talking about at some stage. But yeah, matcha, Jimmy did a video on it, talks all about it. I don't really play with matcha much at all. But it's definitely something you should have as a business in 2026, being served to customers so you can make the money out of it. You're smiling, Ryan. What do you got there?
Some of the comments.
What's going on?
Someone liked our logo.
Oh yeah?
So they called you Jeff Bruzos.
Jeff Bruzos.
Anyway.
Oh,
Opinion on Rocket Appartamento, Luke.
a thing also?
What's your opinion on the Rocket Appartamento?
It's a beautiful machine. There's an original or a TCA. Is there a clarification there on which one? Do you want to just jump up so we can move this mat this way? Just a smidge. Ready? One? Oh, here we go. Otherwise you're lopsided. I feel like, you know, hips are out, getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah. These young kids, they don't understand what it's like when you're, you know, starting out and doing the same thing for 20 years. It gets a bit full on the body. So the OG Appartamento is a really good machine, and then they brought out the TCA. The TCA had a lot of improvements, which is great. The key thing that's come out with the TCA is it does have the new chassis, so it's an anti-rust chassis, and that is handy. Obviously the styling's changed. You've got that real nice wrap-around curved panel around the outside, which actually has a hidden little secret on the top of it. There's a very fine wording on the top of it. And if you look at my review, I've done a review on the TCA. It does tell you exactly what it is. And it was something like, the world loves, or Italy loves coffee and coffee is Italy or something. It's like a well-known Italian statement. That's your first shot there for that one. And then it has, it's a HX 1.8 litre machine with a vibration pump. So that's all those standard sort of entry-level stuff. But what they did is they've upgraded the handles, they've upgraded so the group handle, the steam knobs, and a few little more cosmetics. But the actual biggest difference is in the digital side of it, you can actually change the temperature, which is really handy. So you can change the internal settings between 4 different settings. It's a series of lifting the lever up and down and changing the light, but essentially you can increase or decrease the temperature of the water being boiled, which essentially will change the steam output and the water that's going to be generated for temperature into the HX group. There is a big iced latte. I'm not sure who that one was for. That's the guys at the front, is it? Yep. And this other milk was for... Oh, the other latte. Yeah, yeah, sweet. It's for Kyle. Yeah, so rockets are awesome. Range of colours, black or stainless on the outside, and the inserts you can change the colours as well. So definitely a great machine to look at. If you're in Australia, we can help you out with that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Good morning.
Glasses back on.
Oh mate, can't see. Can't see. Bit too much foam in that one. There you go. Bit of my trademark floating heart Rosetta. There you go. There you go, Kyle. Happy coffee day.
Thank you.
Hope that gets you cracking along. Kyle does a lot of our online store, by the way, so say hello, Kyle.
Hello.
So if you're in the US and you want some coffee, we'll get that shipped out today for you. Jump on artisticoffee.com and or Canada or New Zealand or UK. It's all there, all ready to go. Right. Get straight into this? Yeah, for sure, definitely. So coffee distributing is such a big part of what we do. Right now we're doing, over here we've got our scale on our Anthem SP2, so we're weighing the coffee. All right, you've got to have the right amount of coffee in your basket, and we know that that's going to create a whole lot of fixes in terms of your extraction. So if you're not weighing, anything I'm going to talk about right now is going to be another issue as well. You need to know you've got the right amount of coffee that fits your basket. So I'm going to pop that in there now. And this is a 22 gram basket, and we've got 22.5 grams of coffee. And you can see if you've got a bottomless portafilter, I might have to show that in a sec, but it doesn't poke all the way out. You can get a 25 gram basket, but knowing that you've got the right amount of coffee in the basket is the key, because you may have some issues like floating pucks or not providing the right basically depth in that puck. And if you're going really, really low in a basket, you're going to have a whole lot of different other issues other than just distributing. So I'll come back onto that one, but let's say we've got the right amount of coffee for your basket. And if we were to tamp that down right now, you can see that, okay, we'd call it lumpy. There's sort of, you know, hills and mountains and things like that there. But the key is water's got to pass through this. And the filter is not the metal basket. Everyone thinks that the basket is the filter. It's not. The coffee is the filter. And that's what we've got to get right. So as long as we've got the right grind size and the water flowing through this coffee bed has to be even. If it's not even, we're going to have a whole range of channeling or under processing or over processing of the coffee that is in here. So you can see here, hopefully you can see that big, there's a big boulder there, all right? Now that is a clump that has been formed from a grinder that essentially has got some static that made them all join together. And a lot of grinders have anti-clumping devices and so on. And look, some grinders do it really, really well. You know, in the commercial space, they're definitely pushing pretty hard to not have these kinds of issues. In domestically, yeah, there's still some of those, and the technology hasn't quite made its way down as good as, say, you know, the best one I think on the market is the Lumazocco Swan. The anti-ionizing ring's phenomenal. So that comes out so super fluffy, super light. But commonly at home, you're going to have an issue like this. You'll have some sort of clump. And as the water is coming through, the water can't penetrate that boulder or that coffee grind that's all been stuck together. So it's not going to get the flavour out of that boulder. It's going to go around it because it wants to go through the easiest path through the coffee bed, which would be the path of least resistance, or either way, you know, I get this statement in the wrong way a fair bit. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to go around there and process or over process the coffee that's near it, because you'll start to pass more water through the coffee that is around it, not essentially that coffee boulder. And you're also going to have issues around the outside of your basket. So the water could flow down and creep down the outside edge. So there's a couple of tips that we want to make sure that the coffee is packed right up against the edge, and making sure that the tamper is going to fit perfectly in our basket. So I'm going to just grab a tamper just to remind myself of that one and come back on that one in a sec. I'll just put that there. So if we were to tamp that down now, you could see that this is a valley and this is a higher section. So there's not going to be the even bed all the way through. Now, commonly we would just say, hey, give it a bit of a tap, right? And a bit of a level. Okay, so if you've got a valley on one side and you want the coffee to go towards it, you put your finger and you tap on that side. It'll go towards where you tap, basically. All right, see that moving across? All right, we're filling up on this side and now we've created a valley. So that's the first little tip about distributing. We want to get as flat and level as we can. Now what's happened is you can see that there's a whole range of lots of little boulders everywhere, and that's going to cause another range of issues because there's lots of little boulders. Over here, the water's not going to flow very, very evenly through there. So even if we tamped it, it'll look flat and you'll think it's okay, but the density of the puck when it's tamped is going to be very, very high here, and the lower density might be over here where it's not so clumpy. So the tool that I think would be best in a cafe scenario is we want to do some sort of distributing, and we would recommend the NCD. Okay, so for fast-paced, quick, easy, service, we want to do something. And if you don't have the time to tap it like that all the time, the NCD here, which is a tool that's been around for a while, it's pretty cool. You can adjust the depth of this set of propellers basically just by unlocking it and then winding it down. There's a little gauge on the side about different numbers, and then you lock it back up together and you set that per basket and the depth that you want to do. It's not a tamper, it's a distributing tool. So when we put it on, it's going to basically just move that top surface, spin it 3 times, okay? And you'll see that it's very well distributed. It's very well distributed to the point where it's right up against the outside of the basket. So it's made sure that the coffee has pushed out, but also even as well. So in cafes, highly recommend a distributing tool like that. If you're not doing anything, that's going to help. We call it about maybe 5, maybe 10% improvement by doing nothing. So that's a really good tool for cafes for sure. And obviously when you tamp that, it's going to be flat and level because this is running on the edge of the basket. So that's the first tool for a commercial person. You can use them at home if you like. But when we want to have a bigger impact in taste and flavor profile, we would look at a needling tool. So I showed you all of those lumps that were there before. Now, I've basically distributed them and maybe collapsed them a little bit. I haven't really dealt with them 100%. So there is some density issues where they've been popped into the coffee puck right now. So I'm going to use a different tool. That's a flare funnel or any funnel that sits on top of your group basket and group handle. So they're magnetic, and you do need one of these if you're going to use what's called a needling tool or a WDT, the waste distribution technique. For me, this is the best thing you can have. If you're a home barista and you're really struggling or wanting to really get a better flavor out of the coffee, just grab one of these. They're cheap. They're about 30 bucks. These things are about 30 as well. So you're at 60 odd dollars, where these things are at about 140, maybe 149 or something. So a little bit more expensive, but the outcome you're going to get from this is so much better. So I'm just going to quickly fluff that up. There you go. And say that we dropped our coffee into this, you can see that there actually are some little clumps there that have formed. We can give it a little bit of a level. Okay, and you can see there's some really big boulders in there. Again, using the other tool, the NCD, we'll just be sort of moving those around a little bit. But if we use a needling tool, we're going to start to sift the coffee bed. So kind of like sifting flour. If you're a baker of any sort and you put your flour in a bowl and you sieve it, it really gets larger. And that's what's going to happen in here, and that's why the funnel's there to help us. So I'm going to really rough this up. Okay, I've got the needles hitting the bottom of the basket, and I'm working on that first surface of that shower, of the coffee basket. I'm going around in circles, because if you go in lines, you'll just push it. Okay, so we want to be that randomized pattern. So going into the middle, after we go around the outside in little circles like so. Okay, then I'm going to come up to half the depth of the coffee bed, and I'm going to do the same process. Go round, 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 round. Come back into the middle, and then I'm going to finish off the top. So I want to get this as level as I can, and I want to knock out any of those little boulders that are on the top. Hello, Ben.
Morning, how are you?
Good. So there you go. So we've got our semi-flat and level coffee puck now. I can see there's actually a bit of a shadow there, so I'm just going to fix up that corner there a little bit. So once you've used a needling tool, we've really sifted this. You can see that it's a very consistent across the whole puck now, the puck surface. I'm going to give it just one tap. Okay, so it's not perfectly level. We could still use a distributing tool, or we could take our time and get that one a little bit better. But for this example, I'm going to use our NCD. Nicely distributed now, and it is flat and level. And then we're going to use our tamper. So the fear of a coffee puck is to not have the water go down the outside edge of the basket. And getting the right size tamper is the key. A lot of manufacturers give you a tamper, and that's fine. It's better than not having a tamper, that's for sure. And a metal tamper is going to be better than a plastic tamper that comes in a kit. So for us, I like a flat tamper. Okay, you can sometimes be given a curved tamper, which is pretty traditional for the Italian manufacturers. But my understanding is if water's coming into here, water wants to be flat and level. We want to create a bed of water there, or a pressure bed that will evenly push through the coffee puck. And if we've got a flat tamper, it's going to make that nice and even across the whole bed. There's a whole different shapes and sizes and things you can have here, little worms and patterns and stuff, and I'm not going to get too deep into that. But if we had a curved tamper, it's going to put a concave or convex? Curve.
Concave.
Concave. imprint onto this coffee puck, which will just make the water channel down towards the middle of the puck. On a bottomless portafilter handle, that's going to make it look pretty. It's going to get that really cool spiral that everyone wants, but it's not doing the best justice for the coffee. We want to naturally get to that, that cool look that the bottomless portafilter handle does, but we want to make sure we get a good even saturation across that whole puck. So having a flat tamper that has one of these little rests on it is quite handy, so that when it does tamp down, it'll stay nice and flat, because if we do tamp on an angle, the water will only go down on that path to the lowest point. We want to get one that fits perfectly. So you can see there is a little bit of grind up and around the outside of that basket. So even if I give this a tamp, we can see that we've dropped significantly in that basket. There's a ridge on this basket, and you can probably see the ridge better on that side. There's not so much coffee on it. We've dropped, what, 3 millimeters maybe, just by tamping that coffee. Now, we want to be below that line if you've got that in your basket. That is a line which holds the spring in place and helps hold the basket in place. But it's also a really good depth gauge of when you're popping your handle into your head, in here, where the shower screen and the spring finish. So if you locked your handle into a machine and you take it out and you're still clean and dry and there's no imprint, that is a good way to test how much coffee you should have in your basket. If you're getting an imprint in there, or it's wet, or it's really hard to jam on there, you've got too much coffee. And you're not allowing room for that water to come in and expand the coffee. That's going to change a whole other range of issues. But we want to make sure that we're getting space, essentially, for water to come in evenly. Now, people talk about, around the outside edge. There's a little bit of grind there still. Is that going to really help us or hinder us in terms of flavour? Well, if you've got the space there, the minute water comes in there, it's going to wash that top area and drag those grinds down onto the coffee puck. So for me, I'm not so worried about it. A lot of people would bash the sides of the actual group handle, and sometimes you see that, some reminiscences here of the side of a handle. It's a good way to look at a barista's equipment and see if they are doing that, how beaten up the handles are around here. But if you do that, you're going to crack the seal basically between the coffee and the basket that you've already worked on making. You pushed it into place already, so you definitely don't want to be hitting it, because the water will then just go down that crack and you're under processing the rest of your coffee. So if you just give it a bit of a press, you can do a bit of a twist and a turn, and sometimes you can get a few of those little grinds around the outside. But as long as you've cleaned that, it's actually okay. Unless you're going to buy a basket and a tamper, which would be ridgeless. Here we go. One of these. This is a VST basket. Actually, they're pretty cool. They do give you a flow report as well, so you can see exactly how their flow is going through the actual holes. Their concept basically is, it doesn't matter what size you get, what depth basket you get, you're going to get the same flow rate, so you don't have to change your grind. It's actually pretty cool. But you can see that that is a ridgeless. So we could get a tamper that fits there more perfectly, and it would then make sure that there is nothing left at the top of that, top of the basket when you've tamped it. So the measurement, if this is a 58 mil, you might be getting a 58.55 mil tamper, and it'll go right to the edge. So hopefully that helps you. If you're looking at a tamper, most of them are 58 mils, that's fine, or 58.4s and things like that, but a 0.55 is going to be a really, really good tamper to fill that right in. So tamped, distributed, pretty good, pretty flat. Let's just have a look at the extraction, because we want to reduce channeling. That's the key. All right, now I've used the same grind as we've been using for this extraction before. We can catch it into this one here, the piccolo. So we'll lock it in, and you want to see that this comes evenly through the whole coffee bed. So let's see how the first drips happen. Hopefully we don't get any high speed. Well, there you go, came from the outside towards the inside, which is good. You can see it hasn't formed the column yet, still trying to find its way. Anywhere that got stuck there for a little bit was maybe a denser spot of coffee. And now it's made its beautiful little, what do you call that thing? I don't know.
What's that?
What's that shape? What do you reckon that is?
Funnel.
Funnel? Okay. And we can see it's working pretty well. It didn't have any high pressure squirts, which would be literally a squirt coming out here like a syringe line, which means that the water's going through quicker or got more pressure and it's not flowing evenly. We haven't seen any dry spots that retained on this shower, sorry, on the bottom of the coffee basket, where the coffee didn't get through, because that's a very dense spot in the coffee. So that was actually pretty good for a distributed coffee puck. That is what we're trying to look for. If you're really trying to step up your game, actually I want to talk about this coffee in a sec, but if you're trying to step up your game, getting away from a double spout or something that's got a closed section on it there, you'll be able to see what's happening, because you can have all of those issues in a basket, and essentially it just gets caught in this little area, comes down one hole, and then distributes into single or double cups. So you don't really know what's happening with your coffee pucks unless you get one of those bottomless portafilters. Having a quick look here. It's always good to look at your grinds afterwards. There was a little bit of water on the top, which is fine, but you can see it has expanded quite a good amount. A little bit more on this side. It is just spongy, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to see a hard cake, and you know, that used to be what we used to do, but now we've allowed room for a balloon basically in a handle and allowing that water to come through nice and evenly. So it's pretty good. There's no holes, there's no cracks around the outside. That is a pretty good puck in terms of using a tool to get the most out of it. Ultimately what we're doing, Ben's going to do another extraction right now, and I'm going to see, can you just catch that into this one? Just a double shot into there. So ultimately, the better the flow, the more consistency you're going to be pulling flavours out of a coffee grind. And what's happened here is when you've got your extraction, you can see over extraction is the paleness. So the last 3 drops that came through here, and maybe a couple just here, was where we got too much water passing through the coffee. The pale is the bitterness. So we basically extracted really, really well and got to the point, sorry, where we got some over extraction with some bitterness. Now Ben's just done a normal dose and did our NCD. And we'll just have a look and just see what that extraction looks like on the top quickly. You can see it's just coming out the two sides there. All right, 1 or 2 little drips coming out. But there you go, there's only 1 or 2 little drops here of over extraction. So because the flow was a variable to what we had before, it hasn't got to the point where we've over extracted, which we technically did by having a much better flow. There was more restriction in Ben's puck than there was the one I had. So once you start to play with this, you tend to go a lot finer, and then if you're going finer, you can increase your dose in a basket, and that's going to change a lot of different things as well. Hope that helps. Questions? I'm sure there's
been a ton of comments.
Ton of comments and ton of questions. All right, that's part 1.
So loads of people blowing up about how much effort you're putting into making coffee and saying it's just coffee.
Sick, love it.
Yeah, if it's not for you,
No.
that's fine, but we're here for the people that want to make great coffee. There was one question about pressurised baskets versus non-pressurised baskets.
Oh yeah, cool.
Might want to answer that one. I just
Yep.
want to say thanks to everyone that's been giving us a thumbs up too, and that has been enjoying the content so far.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Appreciate you being there.
So pressurised, non-pressurised, that's definitely where you're in a machine that's probably an entry-level machine. And a pressurised basket is a coffee basket that's designed for pre-ground coffee. So what I went through there was the expansion of coffee, the age of coffee, and dealing with it really, really well. And we're going to adjust the grinder to match the extraction that we're after. And if you have a basket like this and you hold it up to the light and you see all the holes through it, that is a non-pressurised basket, okay? Or a single wall basket. And that is matching with a grinder, so you can adjust the grind because you're going to change, as I said earlier, the filter essentially or the grind particle size of the coffee to slow down the flow. What a pressurised basket does is it'll have another little lip put in here, like another insert inside here. It'll look like this, but you'll see an insert ring. When you flip it over to the bottom, I don't really have one. Maybe I do. I might have one out the back, I can check for you. But it'll only have 1 hole. And essentially it's usually just off to the side. And what's happening is all the coffee is going through that first basket and basically creating a liquid level, and then it's forced through one hole. And that one hole is what's creating the crema. We're not getting the crema because of the back pressure that we're applying to the grind or the coffee essentially. And that is designed for pre-ground coffee. So you basically can put any grind size you want, doesn't matter. It can be plunger grind, really coarse, old coffee, whatever it might be. Chuck it in the basket and you're still going to get crema. The flavour won't be the best, but you'll still get crema. So that is all it's trying to do. It's a bit of a tricky way of making the shot look a lot better. So if you can get away from using pressurised basket, you'll get much better quality coffee.
Which machine should I get for an amateur?
That's a huge, huge open can of worms. We've got a whole lot of reviews on our YouTube channel, so you can have a look, and we've done some videos around different budgets and so on to help you. But if you're just starting out, look, we do sell a few of the Brevels. They're a good opportunity to get into the market and start understanding group handles and so on. If you can stretch a basket to your budget, to get to a 58 mil size portafilter handle, at least you're in an alignment with what we do commercially. And so that's going to help you a lot as well. So if you can, about $1,000 is going to get you into that sort of price point.
How much pressure should you apply when tamping?
Yep, there's a lot of measurements and numbers and things that are out there. It used to be 15 pounds of pressure, which I can't remember what that converts into kilos. But when we've really studied this a lot more is when we get into our auto tampers. So our auto tamp over here is set at 14 kilos and only one tamp. We found that's the best for us. And if we've got a PUQ press, or this is the Chino Art PT2, that's what we're setting them at the moment. So 14 kilos, I would say if you can achieve it on here. These different tampers here have the ability to increase or decrease the pressure and depth by changing the the spring that's inside and screwing it down. So you can get yourself a different weighted tamper and change those pressures. The key is just be consistent, because if I'm a heavy tamper, Chloe's a light tamper, we'll then start to adjust the grind in between us to have the same result. But if you can be consistent in your tamp pressure, you're fine. So that's the answer there.
What's a good way to start learning how to make espresso with limited equipment? I'd say watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, watch YouTube.
Watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah, start learning. It's all about it for sure. There is so much easy access now from a home barista to be able to then learn a lot and then go out and get a job. It's very easy.
Do you recommend paper filters for better extraction, or is that just a myth?
I'm assuming you're referring a paper filter into a basket. If that's the case?
I'm guessing that's what it is.
Yeah. Look, it's definitely something you can do. You've got to understand what the paper paper filter's doing. The paper filter is going to clean up the extraction. So if you've got a really amazing single origin and you want to get it super, super clean and not have as many oils come through, that paper will hold the oils. So it's a pretty new, concept, basically what people are talking about. You can put a paper filter into the bottom of your basket, put your coffee in, and then tamp, and then put a paper filter on top again. So there's a whole different range of technology and concepts that are happening there. But essentially what you're doing is you're catching all the coffee oils into that bottom paper filter. It's going to be a cleaner espresso for sure. I don't think I'd be doing it too often because for me, espresso is that intensity. I want to get the body, the sugars, the caramelization into the cup and the oils in the cup. We're in more delicate profile of alternative brewing, which I don't have one here in reach, but it'd be something like a pour over or AeroPress or Chemex. All these other devices are designed around paper filters, and we're changing the roast profile and the recipes to get that clarity. So I think it's kind of trying to change a technology to suit a flavor rather than looking at the right technology to brew.
Can reducing dose but grinding finer make a better espresso in your espresso? I think he says doses, but I think he means extractions.
Yeah.
Too quickly at the current grind, but going finer makes the extraction too slowly and hangs up.
Yeah, so when you go finer, you can go a lower dose, but if you get too low in your basket, you'll get to the point where that too much water will fill up and it will go around the actual puck and lift the whole puck up and then speed up. So I touched on that a little bit earlier. It is a bit of a balance. You don't want to go to the point where you're super, super low and that puck floats, because that's a huge issue. So if you get to the point where it's super, super fine and then it goes really fast, that's happened. The puck's floated up. If you're going to do that, you'll go for a much shorter extraction. You won't be able to get as much volume through it because you will be getting to the point where that floating will happen. I would look to, actually when I do this is when I have the last set of beans in a hopper and I know I've got to make a grind because I want to have a coffee and I'm absolutely busting for it and a bit of an addict. And I need to do something with it. So if I go super, super fine, super, super low, I tamp super, super hard, and then I will only try and do like a 20 gram extraction. I won't try and go anything bigger than that because I would wreck it, and at least I get myself a coffee that tastes good.
Cool.
And yes, that happens often in my household.
People saying hello, lots of people commenting on your logo there.
Yep, g'day everyone. Yep, so it's A for Artisti Coffee.
They're saying it looks like Amazon.
Everyone says it looks like Amazon, but
Jeff Bruzos.
Jess Bruzos. If you know him, well, you know, let's swap the logo
I
out.
think they copied our logo actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Where are we going to?
I do have the other distributing tools here, the NCD Pulse and the PUQ Navigator. Answer any questions? We want to go on those.
One here. What would be your first upgrade to a mediocre home setup? Would it be filter, grinder? I'd go grinder.
Grinder. If you've got a coffee machine and you've got a really poor quality grinder, just go get yourself a much better grinder. You're going to make that cheap style machine or brewing process or whatever you're doing so much better. The grind quality, the grind consistency is something that you can't change other than a good grinder. So get yourself a single dose grinder if you want to have the ability to do a whole range of different things, pour overs or espresso extractions. But the better burst set, the more consistency in the grind, particle size is going to give you heaps of outcomes in flavour quality, consistency, better extractions. That's where you'd spend your money first. Learn all of that process and then look to upgrade your machine as well.
James says, I have a working espresso machine built in 1905. Would you use it?
In 1905? Yeah.
Would you have a go?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. The old stuff's cool. It's probably a lever machine of some sort, which is pretty cool.
Those upright ones, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, is it like an Electra or something like that? That's it's classic. Very, very cool.
What is the secret of extracting 7 grams of coffee in a 7 gram VST basket? It appears difficult to get the 1 to 2 ratio. Yeah, it is. I'm not a fan of the whole 7 grams. We usually go 9 grams in those baskets, so a little bit more in them. You can pack a bit more, go a little bit finer, and that'll help you. Unless you're using a really dark roast and packing a lot of coffee in there, it's not going to work that well. I did a full YouTube video on the single baskets and that measurement, so maybe have a look at that and I'll deep dive right into that. But it is a bit tricky to get a consistency out of it because of the shape of the basket as well. What happens to the other shot when you make a one-shot drink?
A one-shot drink.
Like when you split a shot.
Yeah, the barista drinks it. You can see that here actually. So what we've got going on is we've got a normal, or you might call it a double shot. We're catching both sides, and here we're splitting. So these two are going to be in this 16 ounce. So that will go into there as one shot, if you want to call it that. And then we've got our double, which will go into that one. All right. Woo. So we've got one left. We've got a long black here for Mark, which is going to be a different coffee. You'll probably have a single origin perhaps, or it'll be a double shot. So we won't be putting that into there. Look, we hope that we sell another 16 ounce so that we can use that and put it in, or use it in a staff coffee or something like that. You've got about a minute or so just while that was sitting there, but not much more than that. Otherwise it's going to start to oxidize and go a bit ordinary. You can put that into some sort of jug and use that for iced coffees if you wanted to try and save it. In the hotter months, put them into ice cube trays, make some espresso style ice cubes. That's pretty cool as well. So there's a whole range of things you can do to make that not be wastage, or try and sell people the extra shot.
You know, ask them, do they want a double ristretto, which is going to be using the full double basket, catching only the first half of that extraction, a 1-to-1 ratio in a cup. A little bit sweeter, a little bit more punchy, but definitely staying away from the bitterness. So different things to consider there. If you're at home and you don't want to, you know, if you're splitting baskets, try double ristretto. You'll use the same amount of coffee and you'll actually end up with a better cup.
Cool. Did you have anything else there that you wanted to look at, mate?
Yeah, for sure. So we just got these, I guess that's you know, entry level sort of WDT and distributing tools. There's some really cool new products that have come out recently. Actually just randomly, that's just another, you know, needling tool that sits on and you can give a bit of a spin. That's just a cheapie that we had here. You can buy a whole range of really expensive versions of those, which is cool. And then down under here, all right, we've got the Pulse, so the NCD Pulse, which is the new version of the NCD. And basically it's got a little docking station like this, and once you take it off and turn it on, it'll actually vibrate. So it's now pulsing in my hands, and you can do a high pulse or a low pulse, and essentially they've worked out that little vibrations are set between dark roast and light roast, and what's better. Right this second? I can't remember. Can you remember, Ryan?
Not sure, mate. Yeah.
One of them is better for light roast, one's better for dark roast. But essentially, if I pop that on the bench, you'll see it working away. It's kind of cool. So it's basically leveling the coffee. It's taking the little fines and trying to get them to the bottom, and the coarser ones on top. And yeah, you use that and spin that at the same time. So pop it on and give it a spin. It's pretty light, really durable. And then when you pop back on the dock, it'll stop working and charge as well. So they're really cool. It's definitely what's being used in the, I guess the barista comps right now. Seems to be the tool of choice, which is pretty cool. And then you've got something like the PUQ Navigator, which is, again, another new tool that is really designed for higher volume PUQ preparation. So I'll grab another handle, some more coffee. So there is a combination of little brackets and holders and things that you can do so that this can work straight into different grinders. But essentially, if we wanted to be in a busy cafe, we wanted to use the needling tool, this would be probably the item to have. You can see that it is a bit wild at the second. All right, there's grind everywhere. We pop this on, we turn it on. Okay, you can pick different versions, which I'll go through in just a second. But essentially, once it's on and we start it, I'm trying to remember. You started, you push the button again, don't you?
Front button.
That's it, yeah. You can see that it's doing a left and right motion. I think it's 8 motions, or you can change or increase it between different versions here. That's the standard, pre, and SPD. 1 second delay. So 1 second delay, and then it can start and do more or less needling, depending on what you want to do. So there you go, that was only 4. So different settings, different numbers of rotation, and essentially you've got your needled or WDT'd PUQ, which is pretty cool. It comes with a couple of kits for different needles, for different depths of baskets, which is really nice. Yeah, really cool product. I think it's the only probably WD tool at the moment that I'd put into a cafe or a bar with some sort of high volume. Yeah, just makes sense. So then you could use your distributor on top. We'll give it a tamp like we did before. This is now a cold basket, like really cold. Let's just see what happens on the extraction. Yep. So exactly the same as what we did before. Yep. So that came out pretty nice. It's now trying to make its way down into that vortex or cone or funnel. It's pretty even on the colour all the way through there, which is nice. Doesn't seem to be any spots on that bottom of the basket which is restricted at all. The colour's pretty even. It's actually a pretty good job. There you go. This is an exact extraction too, because this machine is doing the weight of a PUQ. Actually, come and have a look at this. I'm going to do one more just as a test, but see how that's got to over extraction? There's the handle there. There's no, it's really flat. There's no channeling happening. If I just do one more handle without any PUQ prep, so 22.5 grams is the recipe here. I'm just going to go flat level, one tap, you know, do my little flat and level. You can see there's little boulders and things all the way through there. Maybe just a little bit more level. And there you go. It's a little bit more to the left on this side, the actual vortex. So it's definitely not going through the middle. The water's naturally going to the far left. We haven't got any, we see the water's coming through here. It's really pale now. More water's come through this side than it has that side. That side's still trying to extract. Now it's gone to the other side. There was no high pressure squirts or anything like that. And we did get some bit of over extraction as well. It's going to settle. It'll be interesting to see if there is a bit more of a volume on crema or anything, but this seems to be less intense over extraction on these ones here. That seems to have a lot of paleness sort of happening in that extraction. But the true way to test whether this is better or worse is doing a TDS measure, which is actually measuring how much soluble items have come out of coffee into your cup. So you can get like a little DI fluid version, which is like a little USB style thing, and you can test that and it'll tell you how much soluble liquid has come into there other than water. So that's pretty cool. And that's really the aim, getting more out of your coffee.
Could you share the specs of the coffee you just extracted and when it has been roasted, and what is the best time frame after roast to use the coffee?
Yeah, for sure. So age of coffee is key. You've got expansion that's going to happen with coffee because of the gas. So all the coffee that we have on our shelf here is roasted on Monday, and we sell that to customers so that they can use it basically from 10 days onwards. That's the key. You want the gas to come out and then start using it. So anything we're using in the bar here is actually a week before that on the Monday. So what's today? Wednesday. So it's already 7, 8, 9 days old at the moment. But I think the team, actually I can see it down there, they're using the 23rd of the 1st.
Yep.
Yeah, they're using the 23rd of the 1st. So we always try and stay closer to 2 weeks ahead if we can. If we can be using coffee from 14 to 21 days, for us it's the most balanced, it's the best time frame with less variables. There's not so much gas happening in there, the expansion's going to be a bit more predictable, and we're going to get a beautiful, smoother, balanced flavour out of that as well. If coffee's super fresh, it can be a little bit bitter because there's a lot of gas in there, and some people don't like that and they think it's bitterness, but it's actually not. It's more the gas that's in there and reacting with their flavour palette. A lot of bitterness comes further when the coffee's quite old and oily or darker roasts. So yeah, best window, 14, 21 days, but at least giving coffee 7 days to rest for sure. If you've got lighter roasts, you can push it way out. You can push it even further. You can go out to weeks.
Daniel wants to know, do we sell green beans for home roasting?
We do. We have just some of the ones that we use for our core blends available, and we put a few little singles in there now and then. It's not a big part of our business, but yeah, we've got some on there, and we sell them. You can only buy 3 kilos at a time, up to 3 kilos, because when the prices went so high, we had them really, really cheap on our website, and we had our competitors buying our coffee. So we've made it to a home roasting level of price level, I guess, rather than a wholesale price.
Yeah, they're just on our coffee page. I think you find them.
Yeah, just go coffee and green beans. It'll be there for sure. And if you need a bit more info, or if you've got a bullet, we could supply with some of the bullet profiles as well. Yeah.
It's about an hour, mate. Did you want to wrap it up?
For sure.
Yep.
Hey everyone, thanks very much for joining. Hope you enjoyed that. Bit of fun today, bit weird at the start there, but it's all good. Hopefully Jimmy is feeling better once he gets his foot looked at. And if you missed a few things, go back and have a look at the start. We did cover quite a few little moments there around distribution of coffee and PUQs as well. So if you're not already a follower on our YouTube channel, please do. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, those other social platforms as well. We're really just trying to give you the best content we can. So yeah, like, follow, share this with someone that's going to get something out of it. And I'll keep trying to maintain this Wednesday morning slot for the whole year. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you. Catch you soon.